Hello and welcome to this CHA Extracurricular Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Keller, and I'm excited to be here with you all today. I'm going to be flying solo, so you all keep your fingers crossed. It's actually pretty difficult to talk to yourself. It also makes you feel a little bit crazy. Anyway, before we jump in, I'm going to share a few sports updates with you. First off, the middle school girls volleyball team, they are just doing an excellent job here this year. It's incredible. They are 8-0 right now. Coach Rooney, she must be so excited. And I tell you what, I'm going to get her in here in the studio, and we're going to have an interview and see if we can figure out what makes this team tick. They are just doing an amazing job. The varsity volleyball team is also on a bit of a streak now as well. They're currently 5-3. Big update here. The cross-country team had a meet yesterday on the 15th of September, and that meet was very successful. On the guys' side, Lucas King came in second overall. Connor King came in third overall. And then on the ladies' side, Carly Young came in second overall, and Skylar Crabule came in third. Great job, folks. Excellent job. Also, some exciting news. Next week, we will have some Spirit Days starting on Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we have our Spirit Days coming up, so get excited for that. Now, before we get to those, though, Monday, September 19th, the middle school volleyball team is going to be playing Floyd County here in the Castle. That game will start at 5:30. Come on out and watch that. You won't want to miss it. Let's see those girls push on through to 9-0. We don't have any sports activities, any games, I should say, scheduled on Tuesday. And then as we move into Wednesday, that's when our Spirit Days start. Wednesday is Western Wednesday. You better believe I'm going to have a cowboy hat on that day. Not sure what else will get figured out, but at least a cowboy hat. Thursday is Throwback Thursday. That's a classic. I've got my 70s vibe outfit ready to go for that one. So looking forward to see what else other folks throw on there. Thursday's a big day for me. We've got our first eSports matches and competitions that night. Both a middle school team who's going to be playing Rocket League and the varsity team who's going to be playing Rainbow Six Siege. They have their first matches Thursday the 22nd. Then Friday for Spirit Day, that's Blue and White Day, so we want to see everybody decked out in their night wear for sure. I imagine there might even be some face paint or some hair color or something interesting like that going on. That night, the middle school and varsity volleyball teams have games against FCA Hurt. FCA Hurt, and those games start at 5 o'clock, and the varsity will follow at 6. So a busy week coming up there, especially those last 3 days, but we're looking forward to it, and we're excited for Spirit Week. As I said, it's just me today, so I'm going to take control of the mic furthermore and talk a little bit about eSports. So we're going to talk about just the what and the why of eSports. We'll talk a little bit about what it is and why. Why do I encourage folks to get involved in it? So first off, eSports are electronic sports, right? So video games and in a competitive environment, right? So in the same way that you would have the volleyball teams competing with referees and with particular rules that have to be followed, in esports that is also similar. We have particular rules that must be followed. Matches last a certain amount of time and you play a certain number of them. So esports is really just video games in a sports style setting. In particular, I'm going to bring up Rocket League. That one's really fun to discuss. It's the game our middle schoolers play. And if you will, imagine with me your Hot Wheels car, right, from your childhood, or maybe a Matchbox car. I don't know if anyone still calls them Matchbox cars anymore, but you've got the picture now, right? You've got this Hot Wheels car, and you drive that car while playing a soccer game. Okay, are you with me? Hot Wheels playing soccer. The ball is ginormous. It's probably the size of, like, I don't know, 10 of those cars. So you ram the ball with your car to try to either score goals or to block your opponent from scoring goals. It's really exciting and it's a lot of fun. And it's 3-on-3, and there is strategy that goes into that, right? You can choose to have defenders or not, right? You could have everyone play offense, but then your goal is open, or you could have 2 defenders and 1 person on offense. You can line them up and kind of do 1 person on offense, someone in the middle, and then a goalie. So there are different ways to approach the game, but it's a lot of fun, a really good time. And you make certain changes on the fly depending on how the game's kind of going. And we're really kind of getting into that now with our middle school team. We've got some veterans coming back, some 8th graders, and I'm excited, to see how they perform this year. That should be a lot of fun. So that is kind of what eSports is, and in particular, what Rocket League is. But what about why? Why do we encourage students to do this? Well, I'll tell you what, a lot of the reasons are actually similar to the same reasons we encourage students to get involved in sports like volleyball or soccer or baseball or basketball. We want these students to engage in that team dynamic, right? What's it mean to be on a team with other people, our peers, and how do we work together, right? We all have the same goal, plenty of pun intended there. We all have the same goal, but how do we work together to get to that goal, right? Now, it's very different from when you're playing video games by yourself at home, right? When you're at home, oftentimes the way gamers look at playing a game like Rocket League is how many goals can I score, right? How can I pad my stats, right? More goals, more saves, all that sort of thing. Well, I tell you what, if you get 3 people together on a team in Rocket League, playing that way, you don't always find success. If everyone's trying to score, then when that ball gets stolen, it could be punted from across the field and go right in the goal because there's no goalie. There's no defense, right? So it's different to come into eSports and play as a team. You're not just out there to show off and see how many goals you can score. And that's one thing that I want to really highlight about eSports is it's not the same as just going home and playing video games for fun, right? There's more to it. The team dynamic becomes important, and strategy becomes important too. Who's going to play defense? What style, offense and defense are we going to run? And we make those sorts of decisions together as a team. I enjoy that aspect as well. Another reason why I love to see these students get involved in eSports is because it really creates a new layer of computer literacy and technology skills. It's always surprising to me, and I should probably stop being surprised, but a lot of times when we pass out the Chromebooks or the laptops, students aren't exactly sure how to get started just with getting their programs up and running. Things like using Google Drive or Google Docs, or just being familiar with where to go on a computer to find something, right? Like, where's the search bar and how do I use that? Those are skills that even though these students are so familiar with technology, they're not as familiar with computers, specifically the types with keyboards, right? We know that our phones all have incredible computers built into them, and they're pretty familiar with those. But when it comes to a laptop, they're a little less aware of how to operate those. And I love that eSports brings that kind of together with something exciting like a video game, and you can learn how to operate different computer programs and have fun all at the same time. And that's really my last reason for why should students get involved in this, is it is fun. eSports is exciting. It's a good time. You get to play video games with your friends and compete, right? And we all know that competition is powerful in the classroom and, of course, on the field too. And this is just another opportunity for students to get involved in competition, and competition in a different way. So that's my short explanation and pitch for eSports. Like I said, it's a challenge to talk about that alone. So I hope you all got something out of that. And you know what? I'm sure you had lots of questions about esports. And if you have more, I would encourage you to leave those questions in the comments if you're watching on YouTube, or email me some of those questions. I've got a plan. And if I get some questions back from you guys, I will grab one of those esports participants and I'll bring them in here and make them jump on the show and make them answer those questions. I think that would be an exciting time. So you all leave some comments, send me some emails, let me know what you want to know about esports, and we'll see if we can get that figured out. That seems like a good time to me. All right. Well, thank you all so much for being here and hanging out with me while I just talk to myself. Don't worry, I'll try not to do this very often. This has been the Extracurricular Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a good time, and I'm glad you were here for it. Remember that you can find the podcast on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. You can also listen and follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thank you for joining me today. We are united by faith. Go Knights!